Hello guys, welcome back. So this is a I guess a video customizing a figure that I wanted to do. I wanted to do a He-Man figure, and since I had the Mondo 1/6 scale He-Man Deluxe, I was able to learn a few things of how I wanted things to look. This is the World Box AT27, or is it AT30 body? It's very muscular. I really like the look, except the shoulders are slightly too wide. I wish it was just like maybe that much. Because it was really hard to look for a head that fit this figure. Even right now, this head, which is particularly big, I had to adjust it. If you notice, I wonder if I can pull this off. This was really hard to put on too. I had to cut this off and Dremel it and all that stuff and sand a lot. And I'm using the original peg that came with this body, and even then, as you can see, it has a gap over here, which I'm okay with because I'm thinking of trying my hand in rooting the hair anyway. But in that situation, you notice that it's also sitting high. So in order for it to look good, I actually have to move it forward like that, which is still okay. I think that once I have the hair rooted, that all that stuff is going to be covered up anyway. But if you have it forward like so, then I'm okay with how that head is sitting on that body. I still think it's might be too small. I'm not sure, but I think once I have the hair on, it should be okay. I'm just right now just taping it back so I can see how this harness would look, or how the body looks with the harness of He-Man. So what I'm going to do is kind of concentrate on the loincloth over here, because so I made this loincloth. I basically made an underwear pants underneath it, and then I was able to glue this material on top of it. And then what I'm planning on doing is I saw on my Mondo He-Man, I really liked how the loincloth looked over there, because the fur texture wasn't as long as this one. So it's kind of hard to control this because it's big and all that stuff. So I'm thinking, if you cut it like this, then what you're going to see is a uniformity in the cut. See how straight that is? So I wish I had a smaller scissors, because how you want to cut it is actually kind of snips on the corner like this. That way you get rid of all that straight cut. See how it's now disappearing? So that's what I'm planning on doing. This is going to take a while, but you want to create an uneven in the cut as you're cutting it, because from what I'm seeing on the He-Man Mondo, this might be too long. And then I'll repaint this to a darker brown. That should the paint that I'm using is acrylic based, so so it's water based. So it should matte this down. Okay, I found the smaller scissors, but for some reason it's not sharp enough. So I've kind of trimmed it a little bit more. I hesitate to trim it a little bit some more, because I need to know what it gonna look like once I have the paint applied. I'll do that right now, and we'll see together how it's gonna look. In the meantime, I wanted to show you this technique that I recently saw a YouTuber, how they were making the pattern for some of the stuff that they're doing. If you're creating a cloth suit or anything off the figure, so we'll try and see how it will work out. You guys are going to be seeing a whole bunch of just time wasting along as I'm experimenting on how this is gonna look. So basically what they did was They wrapped the figure or whichever part that you want to create a pattern of in plastic, and then you wrap that plastic in tape, preferably masking tape. The reason why you're wrapping it in plastic is so that when you have finally covered the part and you remove the tape, it's not stuck to the figure itself. So is that the I'm not sure if this is the end. Yep, it is. So first thing I gotta do is, let's see. Somehow wrap this plastic around this calf. It doesn't have to be like perfect. It just needs to be, there you go. Just so that the tape's not making contact with the actual figure. That's all you needed. And then, okay, so now I'm gonna do the foot part. So you guys are noticing with me, it's not covering the actual feet, so I'm gonna have to add some plastic on top of that. Anyway, this is just you know what, I'm just gonna put this whole thing. This is just plastic wrap, so it doesn't really matter how much you're using. Once you wrap it like that, that's all you really need to do. Tape it in so it's not loose. See, so now it's like it's got a perfect then you just do this. It doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to conform exactly to the figure because it's cloth anyway, unless you're doing something that's perfectly body tight. And I guess I am kind of, because this is going to be a boot, but you just wrap it around, wrap it around, wrap it around. Make sure this is positioned in a neutral position, otherwise the pattern for your boot's gonna get messed up, which is probably what happened to So-So Toys. I still think when they designed the boots for the So-So Toys, the Return of the King Superman Kingdom Come, they designed that that boot to be to simulate like it's flying. That's why it's angled like that, which was really a bad choice for them. Like I said, it doesn't have to be pretty, so that's all I'm doing with that. Let's make it higher just in case. Right, see? Doesn't have to be pretty or anything like that. And now, reaching across for my pen, once you have your tape, basically what you want to do is, let's say you want the calf, the top part of the boot to be around here. So you're basically drawing how you want this to look, right? Is that straight? So it's pretty straight. So you want to draw how you want the top of the boot to look while it's on, because once you take this off, that thing's gonna curve, even though it looks straight to you. Some of them were using the thicker pen. I want to use regular pen on this, and then we'll imagine that the cut in the back is gonna go like so. The other thing is, obviously, once you have the pattern of this is gonna be a 2-part or 3-part actually, so you want to know where your cut is on the ankle. Now, I've never done this. I'm basically figuring this out with you guys right now as you guys are seeing it. But oh, look, part is not taped off. This seems to be a very forgiving process. Okay, right, so what I'm planning on doing is, this is going to be one piece, and I'm going to glue or attach it to this part. And then once I make the cut of the letter piece, this is the connection point, so I'll basically want to make sure that this piece extends all the way down here. That way this piece, now this piece, in order to get this kind of curvature, has to be 2 pieces, which means this has to be, there has to be a cut here. I'm not going for this shape anyway. This is going to be squared off like that. So I think that will work like that. Now this one, I'm going to just mark along where the sole is of this foot. So basically, this is one piece that extends all the way down here. I'm going to cut this piece with a little bit of an extension over here on each side and each corner. So this is one piece that goes all the way here, and then marking how this sole looks like, I'm going to extend that by, again, another what would be this, maybe 2 centimeters, which I'll then put some sort of I'll use this material that I use for the for my tank. So I'm gonna, there's another part there. So I want to show you guys what I'm gonna do with the second leg. It's basically this part. It's gonna be the same thing anyway, but I will show you once I start cutting the cloth and all that stuff. Before I cut, let's see, I'm getting kind of sidetracked. Obviously be careful when you're cutting into this one, because you know, if you're cutting too deep, it's gonna I don't really care, I guess, because this part of the body is gonna be covered anyway. So getting some cuts into the figure, it's okay for me. This basically goes down all the way. And that's it. See how now it just opens up really, really nice. Will this technique work? I don't know. Like I said, it's the first time I'm doing it, and what you guys are seeing is basically me experimenting with it. But this technique, I did see a few YouTubers show it off already, so seems to work. But that's it. See. So I'm gonna mark it, this one for leg L, for the left boot. And now that we've taken it off, you guys can see the pattern, right? So now it's easy to just cut along the mark that you just made. Cut this boot part. Now from what I'm seeing right now, the pattern's right there, but you can see it's not laying flat. That kind of tells me that if I do replicate this on the cloth, it might not necessarily wrap around well or follow it well. But there's a basic pattern there, and just cut this part. I don't really need the sole. So this is, I'm cutting it exactly to the line, but obviously when I cut the pattern on the cloth, I'm adding like 2 centimeters to it. Maybe like 1/4 of an inch or something. I think this will work. If it doesn't work, I think I'll still show it to you guys. Show you the videos. There's the pattern for it. See? And there's a pattern for this one. But there is that curve, so we'll see how it will react to that. Hold on a second. It's this color. Much better. Oh, sorry about that. Because I'm doing this in my room, everything's kind of tight. This is like maybe this paint is over 10 years old. And looks like it's still good. Alright, so how am I going to do this? Okay, I'm gonna basically really dilute it and see how this thing will react to the thing. Okay, so what I'm afraid of is how see how fine this texture is. So what it's doing is basically matting it. That's what I was really afraid of. So let's see, if I do it like that, it's making it dark, but it's matting it. So in order to, let's see. I'm choosing one where it's more thicker, and I'm gonna see how that reacts. So basically, I'm trying to observe how the material is gonna react to the paint that I'm putting on. Kind of interesting, but it's making it like look like a so I'm gonna paint it haphazardly at this point because I really need this to penetrate into the fur texture.
I'm gonna deal with how it's matting later on. You know, this video might not necessarily work. I might end up just erasing it because of distant fails, and obviously. But then again, I believe in learning from your failures, so the way I see it, if I fail, if this video is a failure of a tutorial, it's a failure for me, but you guys can learn from it. So maybe I will still post this. This one's a stiffer flat brush. basically pull this in. So what I'm kind of hoping is once it dries and you start pulling on the hair, it will start separating. It won't have the same kind of texture as the Mondo has. 'Cause they use a completely different fake fur net, where the hair seems to be a lot more thicker. This one's so much more finer than what they used. This is the reason why you wanted to mask underneath, because otherwise your figure's going to get painted. And yes, you do want to do that because as you can see as you're pulling it up, the other part is not covered with paint. So be messy. It doesn't matter. Your figure is protected. And this is water-based anyway. See how it's drying off and it's starting to not be so flat? That's kind of cool. I think this will work. Yes. Sorry, but I don't really... there's no background music. I would say, if you're watching my video, and I decided to not fast forward this part, you guys can just put your own background music. So this is telling me that I'm going to need quite a bit of paint. More than I thought it was going to be. Not a problem. I mean, it's not going to use up this whole tube, but...
Oh, and look at that. It's I didn't anticipate that it's gonna bleed through this. And okay. So like I said, be messy because you definitely want the underneath to be painted as well. You know, it's kind of actually good that it has this matted, greasy look because, you know, it's a barbarian. I know it's He-Man, but since it is a barbarian look, it should be like greasy and dirty and mangy looking. Adding water just to make sure it penetrates easier. And then, you know what, I'm going to do that. And then I'll go back over it again with the thicker undiluted paint. Because I'm seeing that the thicker paint that I'm putting, the better look seems to be. So let's do that. I'm good with that. So I'm dabbing it so that the brush agitates the hair and see if I can create some sort of pattern on the fur that is more interesting than just laying flat like that. So, you know, I can see that this might be too thin. That's where I cut it. That's why I started to stop when I was cutting it, because I was looking and seeing maybe I'm doing that way too close. This is how I kind of approach my work. There's really no, oh, this is gonna work for sure. No, I just do things and see if it works or not. I wonder if I'm gonna post this as and edit and all that stuff, or just do this and post this video and see how you guys react to it. Right, look at that. Okay, more controlled. And then I'm basically just gonna let this paint dry. And once it dries, it's gonna dry in a clump, right? It should. So I'm kind of determining how this. I'm kind of sculpting the hair at this point, because I'm pretty sure once this paint dries, it should dry kind of matted and separate, especially this part. This is the super diluted one. Matted. This one looks more textured. I really like this one for sure. See, you're teasing it and it's not looking flat as the back one. I'm pretty sure that's because of the water that I added. So I'm just teasing it so the fur is sort of showing down instead of off to the side. Let's see. Anything I can use still? Use whatever is there at your disposal, kind of. Until you get the look that you're going for. So that seems to be. This might work in the back. Look at that. It's really sticking to the cloth. It's definitely the water. So what the blade is doing is it's pulling that fur out of the cloth underneath, because it basically got stuck there because of the water that I put in. So now it's creating that texture that I like. I'm not cutting. As you notice, I'm using the flat of the blade, right? 'Cause I don't want to cut into this and weaken the cloth understructure. All I'm doing is lifting the fur from the bottom cloth. What do you guys think? We'll let this dry. Come back in an hour or two. See how it looks.